Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Island Target exclusive Cobra Viper. Now this is the original Cobra Viper. Huge shout out to my boy Tony Strain for selling this to me for a very, very reasonable price. This is one of only 2 Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified figures that I do not have. The only one left to get is the light blue variation of Cobra Commander. Beyond that, I have every single figure and every single variation. Although, I would have liked to have had a few of these Vipers. At this point, I'm going to settle for the one. He's going to be the leader of the rest of my Vipers. Once again, thank you very much, Tony. One figure checked off my list. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, ages 4+. A little warning. Cobra Island, G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Viper by Hasbro. Here he is in the package. Bunch of accessories. Some Cobra insignia on the side. This is the 22nd figure in the G.I. Joe line. Other side, got a few Vipers. In the back, here's the Cobra Island. And at the bottom, here's his barcode in case that happens to help anybody. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He comes with a backpack, some goggles, a scarf, and then a machine gun and a pistol. But before we take a look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is the Cobra Viper, one of Hasbro's first army builders. Him, and then the Cobra Trooper. They're both Target exclusives from this wave. I was fortunate to get all the other figures in the original run, but never got the Viper. They even did a restock, and I kept trying to get at the Target app. I kept adding to cart, but he was always sold out too fast. It's because he was an army builder and people are buying in mass quantities. Personally, I would love to get 4 of these guys, but I've given up any hope of doing that without spending an arm and a leg. So for now, I have the lone Viper, and he's going to be the leader of all my other Cobra Viper figures. Huge shout out to my boy Tony Strain, selling this to me for a very, very reasonable price. I appreciate that so much. So let's take a look at him. As you can see, he's in the more or less traditional colors. Blue, red, black. He's got the helmet on his head. Sort of silver visor at the front. He's got the Cobra logo here. Looks like the Cobra logo here. I don't seem to see it anywhere else. He's got some smoke bombs or grenades on his vest. Looks like a bulletproof vest overall. A bunch of pouches on his belt. Looks like the vest is not going to show you the ab crunch that he presumably has underneath there. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, place to holster his pistol. Overall, very good looking figure. He's definitely the best of the Vipers they've made, and I'm finally happy to have an original one. And just a closer look at his face, helmet, and head sculpt. Pretty well done, although I have plenty of other Viper releases which use the exact same helmet and head. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start off by attaching the extra pieces to his face and neck. And when I say that, I mean his scarf and his goggles. Now the scarf itself, it's kind of open in the back. You can easily just sort of pry it open, slide around his neck. And then we have the goggles here, also made of sort of rubber material, a lot of give to them. Now be careful, I've had some of my later Vipers end up snapping on the back. Just leave on his head over time. I don't know, maybe I stretched it too far and it was stressed, who knows. Here's the Viper without any of those extras. Now when I first saw the scarf, I thought to myself, how am I supposed to get this on this guy? I wonder, does his head come off? And it sure does pop off with complete ease. But you don't even really have to do that to attach the scarf. It has that sort of hole in the back. I also feel like these Vipers, they're always looking down. I don't know, it definitely looks that way from the front, just because of where the visor is. Always has, I don't know, like I said, it just seems like he's looking down. Even with the scarf there, it's not really going to change that. And here he is, with the scarf attached, and here with the goggles attached. Now, I don't know if this is exactly what they intended, but I feel like he should look out of this big silver visor here. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe he looks up where these goggles are, but I feel like right now they're on his forehead. And you'd have to lower them onto the silver visor for them to be accurate to where his eyes are. Maybe I'm misunderstanding how this figure is supposed to be portrayed. I don't know. Drop me a line in the comments below. Curious what you guys think. I just feel like the silver visor is just far too low, and it seems like it doesn't make sense for his eyes to be there, but it doesn't make sense for his eyes to be up top where the helmet is solid, and he has the goggles right now. Now for his backpack. You see, the backpack has got a bunch of gear on it. It's got a rope here, the Cobra logo there, some bombs here. It's got a bunch of pouches on the side, the back, and the other side. Then it has a peg for the peg hole to attach onto his back. Here's Viper with his backpack attached. You can't really tell from the front, but if you spin him around, there it is. Now for his pistol. Smaller sidearm, a little bit blocky at the top. Handle's pretty small, all done in one solid black color. Here's Viper holding that pistol. And here he is, holstering that pistol. Now it's like his rifle or machine gun. It's purely cast in a black color. Paint job's kind of weak. Sculpting and detail is very impressive. I mean, look at the little detail in the barrel there. It's got sculpting all along the gun. Even the magazine looks very nice. The magazine is removable, which is not really advertised in the packaging. If you didn't know, you probably would never try. Once again, sculpting looks very nice on the magazine. Here's Viper, holding his machine gun. He can hold it with either one hand or with two. Now I want to check out the differences between this Viper figure and the other Viper figures Hasbro's made, besides the obvious paint differences. On the left, we have the most recent Viper release. That's the Target exclusive Python Patrol Viper. Then we have the regular Viper, and then the Viper Officer and Viper Trooper from the Viper Army Building Pack. Now, upon first glance, looks like every single figure is exactly the same except for the paint differences. I do notice Python Patrol here doesn't have the scarf. Beyond that, they are all exactly the same. Notice the goggles are a little bit different each one. Red lenses, black lenses, gold lenses, and silver lenses. In my action figure world, typically I would think the Viper Officer would be the leader, but no, I've got a few of those guys. This original Viper is going to be the leader of my entire Viper battalion in my action figure collection. Like I said at the beginning, I would love to get 4 of these guys, but it's just not going to happen at this point. So I'm really happy to have this one to lead my Vipers into battle against the Chos. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, staying at about 6.3 inches tall, which can translate to 16 centimeters. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up and down, not very much. He can look down, but he's already looking as far up as you're going to get him to. Can't really tilt his head from side to side. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He does have a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest. Increase the range of motion there. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows below that, but they're obstructed from his forearm armor. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. In his torso, I believe he has an ab crunch under here, but I really can't see what's going on there. And even if he does, this vest here is going to completely make that unusable. Ball joint his waist, rotate around, forward and back. Legs, complete as splits. Ball joints. He's got those drop down hips. They look hideous when they're down, but push them back up, not so bad. Forward, about that much. Back, not much at all. Thigh cut. Double jointed knees. Boot cut. That's ankle, forward and back. Tilt rock. No traditional rotation here. You get that from the boot. Here's Viper leading his pack of Cobra Vipers in a traditional V for Viper formation. And a closer look at Viper leading his battalion. Now let's check him out. Next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other Hasbro G.I. Joe classified figures. Let's start off by checking him out with some other Hasbro G.I. Joe Cobra Army builders and some Viper figures. Here he is, next to the Viper Officer. This is the main leader Viper from the Army Builder 3-pack. I got 3 of these guys. And here he is, next to the Cobra Viper Trooper from the Army Builder 3-pack. I got 6 of these guys. Then, next to the Target exclusive Python Patrol Viper, I got 4 of those guys. Here are all 4 of the different Viper figures Hasbro's made so far. And rumor is, there's going to be an upcoming Red Crimson Viper. And here's my entire collection of Hasbro Viper figures. Now, I really want to get 4 of the original Vipers, but I've kind of given up at this point. This one is simply going to be the leader of my entire Viper squadron. And here he is, next to some Alley Vipers. I have 4 of these guys. And here, next to the Cobra Trooper, I got 4 of these guys, and they were also part of the Cobra Island Target Exclusive Wave. Then, with the Cobra Infantry, I got 12 of these guys. These guys were a lot easier to obtain than the Cobra Trooper. These guys were available everywhere. Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, Target, Meijer, Walmart, etc. And now, next to the Cobra Officer, I got 4 of these guys. They're a slightly different version of the Cobra Trooper or Infantry. Here's Viper. Next to the Target Exclusive Python Patrol Officer, I have 4 of these. Here he is, next to 4 of the Red Ninjas. And here he is, next to the Blue Ninja 2-pack. I got 4 of those. Here's Viper, next to 4 of the Cobra BAT Bats. These are Battle Android Troopers. Then, next to 4 of the Target Exclusive Python Patrol Bats. And now, with 4 of the Crimson Red Cobra Bats. And finally, the last army builder. This is the Red Crimson Guard. I have 4 of these guys. Now they make a ton of army builders on the Cobra side of things. There are plenty upcoming in the near future. Here's Viper, next to the first wave of Target Exclusive Cobra Island figures. These guys were really hard to find back in the day. The only one I ever personally saw was the Cobra Trooper, and I felt very fortunate to find him. And here he is with the second wave of Target Exclusive Cobra Island figures. This wrapped up the Cobra Island, then they moved on to Target Exclusive Python Patrol figures. Here's Viper, next to some recent Hasbro G.I. Joe figures on the Cobra side of things. Then, with some of the earlier Hasbro G.I. Joe Cobra figures. And here he is, next to some recent G.I. Joe figures on the Joe side of things. Here's my entire collection of Hasbro G.I. Joe classified figures on the Cobra side of things. It's been a long journey, but my collection is almost complete. The only one I'm missing at this point is the light blue Cobra Commander. I think he's called Regal Cobra Commander. If anyone knows where I can get one, drop me a line in the comments below. I believe besides him, I have every single figure and every single variation. And here's my entire collection of Hasbro G.I. Joe classified figures on the Joe side of things. I have every single Joe figure and every single variation. Yo, Joe! Now let's check him out. Next to some other Hasbro figures. Here he is, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. Then, with some Hasbro Fortnite Victory Royale figures. Here's Viper, next to some Hasbro Indiana Jones Adventure figures. Now let's check him out. Next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a Hasbro figure, they're typically the 6-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the smaller action figure lines I collect, and work way larger. Here he is, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. Then, next to a can of diced tomatoes. And here he is, with some Mafex figures. Then, with some Mattel, DC Universe Classics, and Multiverse figures. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. And now, with some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And here he is, standing with some NECA figures. Then, with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, next to some McFarlane toys. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. And finally, next to some Jakks Pacific wrestling figures. So overall, he's a pretty nice figure. It's the exact same sculpt as the other Viper figures, but this is the original. This is the best paint variant, although the red is a little bit too bright. Sculpt and paint job are excellent. Accessories are plentiful. Articulation is fantastic. Hasbro G.I. Joe classified figures have great articulation. If I were to rate this figure, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And maybe part of that is because I'm enjoying finally getting the original Viper that I've been looking for a long time, and getting him for retail price. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.